Hey, ESPN, I'm Jack.
And I'm Miles from the Daily Zeitgeist, a daily comedic news podcast that answers the question,
what if Stephen A. Smith spoke at a normal volume and his opinions were based on fact and not completely insane? This probably isn't the best way to describe this.
No, you just negated the two things Stephen A. Smith is known for.
Okay, what if The Daily Show was hosted by us?
Yes, but who is us?
Okay, I'm Jack. I'm the co-founder of Crack.com.
And I'm Miles. I love soccer and get very nervous when I'm pulled over by the police.
He's also a former lobbyist who quit politics for comedy.
Yeah. Well, look, we covered news, the president, pop culture, and we're both very big sports fans.
I'm actually named after my grandfather, legendary NBA coach and ESPN alum Dr. Jack Ramsey.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm named after Miles Davis, the legendary heroin addict who is not my grandfather.
So search the Daily Zeitgeist. If you don't know how to spell zeitgeist, like most of us, just type in Daily Z. It'll figure it out for you. On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are given away for free.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood. Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me your boom, boom, boom.
Sound the alarm, Jalen Rose. Sound the alarm. The trade deadline is coming past. Did Paul George get traded?
Nope.
Did Carmelo Anthony get traded?
Nope.
What about Jimmy Butler? He got traded, right?
No.
Did the Boston Celtics do a move?
No.
Did the Golden State Warriors do a move?
No.
Cleveland
Okay,
Cavaliers,
Cavaliers?
They did something, right? They didn't get a playmaker.
No.
What about Charlotte?
They don't have a team. Well, there were some trades that were made that will be impactful to the playoffs and beyond that.
And I like Charlotte. Why y'all just did Charlotte like that?
I just don't know why you brought him up. I don't know why you brought it up.
That's why I
lived
did
on
that.
the All-Star team. He lived on the All-Star team. Even
Man,
Michael Jordan
tough
didn't
crowd.
even try to do anything. There were trades that were made. There were trades that were not made. Obviously, in all of these trade discussions, everyone just brings up Danny Ainge and the Celtics. And they did such a good job of fleecing the Nets of all of their picks. Well, they've never turned those what everyone calls assets, these valuable assets. The Nets pick is so valuable. They've got these assets. They need a superstar. They haven't done anything. Do you still trust Danny Ainge's decision-making?
I trust Danny Ainge's decision-making because of a couple of things that people aren't truly paying attention to. Avery Bradley's really good at basketball.
Yes.
And I know he's been hurt a lot this year, but I don't love the term two-way player because there's so many guys that play on both ends that just aren't lockdown defenders.
People just say, oh, he's the best two-way player in the game. Like, is there anyone that doesn't play two ways?
Correct. And so I will say that he's a lockdown defensive player and an improving offensive player. I saw this happen, and he won't go to this level, but that's how Jimmy Butler started. That's how Kawhi Leonard started. That's how so many people find they were in the league because of their hustle and tenacity and then become offensive players. He can make threes now. He's really athletic. And so he's more of an asset that people are really giving value to. And the other thing is those picks. What pick you said they got from the Nets?
First round Nets.
Okay,
pick.
what is their record?
It's going to be a top 4 pick.
What's their record?
They are 9 losses worse than everybody else.
So you mean regardless of the lottery, I get to pick in the top 4?
Yes.
Okay, unlike the Lakers where I got to trade Lou Williams to hope to tank to get my top 3 protected pick. And I'm going to the playoffs this year.
Oh, for sure.
And I have Isaiah Thomas.
Yep.
Okay. He's doing a really good job. And the other guy gets paid too. I heard Paul George be mentioned.
He's mentioned a lot.
Let me tell everybody something.
Please do.
Magic Johnson is my childhood idol, and I'll get to the litany of things that as a young punk, I've been sitting back taking notes of my childhood idol, play chess while everybody's playing checkers, and all of a sudden he's the president of operations of the Los Angeles Lakers. I just bow down and salute. That's why I call him the Hall of Fame moment. I'll get into that another day.
Okay.
But you know somebody else I love is in Indiana, too.
Larry Joe Bird.
Okay. Do anybody think that he's going to get fleeced by Danny Ainge, who now coaches the Celtics? I remember going back to play for the Pacers when Larry returned because he was ousted unceremoniously. That's what makes the Lakers and Magic relationship so great, that he still has that staying power.
Yep.
You think he about to get fleeced by Danny Ainge or Magic Johnson?
No.
I woke up today, breaking news. I'm eating oatmeal. It's like, oh, Magic called Larry. Oh, he did.
And we talked about it. When I brought it up, I was like, hey, Magic, Larry, it could happen. You were like, no, it's not going to happen.
Hold on. So let me get this right. The Lakers trade Lou Williams so they can do what again?
Get worse?
Okay. And that's called
Tanking.
Okay. How did Lou Williams rank amongst players on their roster this year as far as production?
High.
Okay. So you mean you trade him and acknowledge you want to lose, but then the next day you're on the phone with Larry Bird about to get Paul George? That doesn't even add up.
Public perception. Perception.
So they're doing a
is
good
reality.
job of shaping the message. And that's what you got to do when you run a $1 billion business. That's what? Ranked number 2 in Forbes.
2 in Forbes was $3 billion valuation.
Okay.
Forbes.
So Larry ain't having it.
And when Danny Ainge calls Larry, here's what's not going to happen also. It's just like throwing something together in the last minute with a superstar like Paul George. Like, I feel like if we didn't hear about it 2 days ago and we just started hearing about it 3 hours, we're either not going to hear about it at all, like the Boogie deal, or you're going to hear about it for a little bit and then it will eventually happen.
You said Boogie deal, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you who Larry Bird isn't. Vlade Divac.
No, he's not.
He's the only guy that's been MVP of the league, coach of the year, and executive of the year.
Can I just back up Vlade Divac for a second? In his press conference when he said we had a better deal on the table 2 days ago, do you know what he is saying? The translation is, this is not my fault. This is Vivek Ranadive. So everyone who wants to say that I'm the worst GM in the league and then wants to clown me for this and that, he's like, look, everybody has a boss. And when your boss tells you to do something, you do it.
And so, agree with you. And so people expecting the splash move this year with the Celtics, as I mentioned, because you made pun of it, but it's true. They do have assets. And I keep those assets if I'm them at this point, unless you're going to give me Paul George and he can play with some of those assets as opposed to having to give them up to get him.
Yes. It seems like, and Chauncey said it today on the jump, that like you don't necessarily have to do something if you're Danny Ainge. You have a great team that's going to contend for the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, the Cavs could have injury problems as they have because Tristan Thompson decided to date a Kardashian. That's basically it. Direct correlation, okay? And you've got Gordon Hayward. He's going to be a free agent. And then you've got Paul Pierce. You know, Paul George. Okay. Paul Pierce, who could be a consultant.
Like, he just coming back to retire.
Yeah, he could be a consultant.
Not to play.
He could be a consultant.
And so the Celtics, I agree. You let it play out. You roll the dice. And they've seemed to make deals when they've clearly gotten the better of the other team. And that's a position that you want to keep. And if you know you have those assets, you sign it. You signed Al Horford outright as a free agent. He was an all-star player in Atlanta. I think it was smart for them not to make a move.
Something that happened that will directly affect the Eastern Conference Finals is this. Deron Williams got dropped by the Mavs. Okay? It is already sort of like an assumption that he's going to sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kay Felder, I'm sure, is a great prospect, but he is not Deron Williams. Is this the quote-unquote playmaker that LeBron James wants?
We talked about this before. And they were trying to get Deron Williams at that point in time when LeBron did make those comments of get a playmaker. Melo's more of a scorer. What makes him a playmaker is that he's going to draw double and triple teams and he can score 25 points. We got to pay attention to him. But he was talking about somebody that could take the ball out of his hands and or Kyrie's hands, plus run with the second unit so those two guys can rest as LeBron James hovers around the league leaders in minutes played. This totally makes sense because they're going to need a guy that can also make threes. When you have LeBron penetrating, you have Kyrie penetrating, you have to have
LeBron doesn't want you on his team unless you are Tristan Thompson or you make threes.
Correct. And so the other guys are specialists. Kevin Love's going to be out for a while, so it would be a good look as you get J.R. Smith back And again, it just strengthens what we anticipate is going to happen, that they'll face the Golden State Warriors in the finals. But you have to make moves when Toronto tries to get better. Mm-hmm. We talked about the Boston Celtics as well as the Washington Wizards to play good basketball.
The Eastern Conference Finals the Eastern Conference is getting more exciting. The trade deadline was not particularly exciting. However, there were some moves that were made that deserve some attention because not every trade is insignificant. Now, you spoke about Avery Bradley. He's one of your guys. You know, one of the Jalen Rose guys. There's a few of them. Another one of them is one of my guys. He's one of my guys because he represents Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Shout out to Mo Badanga. He's one of your guys because of his performance on the basketball court. He was traded today. Of course, I'm talking about who, Mr. Rose?
Taj Gibson.
Taj Gibson was moved to the Thunder. The Thunder get Taj, Dougie McBuckets, and a 2018 second-round pick. The Bulls get Cameron Payne, Anthony Morrow, and Joffrey Laverne. Why does this seem like the Thunder got a lot more out of this than the Bulls did?
Because I like to judge trades by who got the best players and who can now equate that to how much they may or may not have lost the deal based on finance because it is a salary-driven sport. Mm-hmm. Cameron Payne, the day I saw him dancing with Russell Westbrook, I was like, he won't be there long.
Why is that?
Because if I'm management, I don't want to see my backup guard and my best player having the same mental focus as the game about to start when one of them is about to go out there and average a triple-double, and the other one, I still need to see more out of you.
So I have a feeling that Mr. Gibson is part of this deal because the Bulls basically had a conversation with him and his agent, and it really didn't feel like Mr. Gibson was going to re-sign with the Bulls. So they're like, you know what? Let's just move him and get something. If you're the Thunder, he's a nice little piece to add.
And also, just look at what they're doing up front. You know, Cantor's out with injury. They're going to get him back.
Punching chairs. Who knows? You might need Taj more than you think.
But then he'll be back. And so now you have him to play minutes. You have Adams to play minutes. You have Sabonis. And then Taj is going to give you the toughness and post-up ability and another big body and another finisher for Russell. And somebody else that could be Russell's bodyguard. Like, that's going to be Russell's bodyguard.
There you go. Steven Adams just got a little upset.
Okay.
He listens to Jalen and Jacoby every day on the way home from practice.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
He just got a little upset.
No, that's going to be Russell's bodyguard. Taj Gibson.
Okay. Well, I like this move for the Thunder especially. And I also feel like the very first Thunder Bulls game since this move was made, we should just allow Cameron and Russell to dance together at the table. Just because they're in different uniforms doesn't mean they both like dancing. No, they don't play tonight.
Oh, no, that's the end.
No, that would be fun. We do have our eyes on the Pelicans game, which should start in just about 25
Pelican
minutes.
fly.
And the Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the New York Knicks. Excited to see Charles Oakley
He'll be there.
I really think Oakley he's trolling a little bit by going to this game.
I told you he's going to be at all the road games, especially the one in Cleveland.
What he really needs to do is go to all the JD and the Straight Shots concerts. That's what he needs to do. He needs to get backstage passes, meet the band access for all of James Dolan's concerts.
See, here's what you guys underestimate about Charles Oakley and being a long-time respected, seasoned, grizzled vet. He's not like just only a triple OG in New York where he played.
Everybody loves Charles Oakley.
It's
unless he punched you in the face, you love Charles
Cleveland.
Oakley.
It was when we were in Chicago. It's wherever he is. And where's he from?
Cleveland.
And the Knicks playing where tonight?
Cleveland.
You don't think he's gonna be at the game? Front row?
Where's the? You think he's courtside?
No question.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
That's the only way it gotta go down.
No. They're not gonna be with Mav and Rich. He's gonna be with LeBron's posse. That's what he's gonna be. Charles Oakley's gonna be part of LeBron's posse tonight, according to Jalen Rose.
That's why I introduced their names without mentioning him, huh? Mm-hmm. They've earned their own names. Big shout out to that crew.
I like Nerlens Noel.
Me too.
I think Nerlens Noel will be a very effective NBA player.
Active.
He's, I'm not going to say that he's got the best jump shot in the league or the most polished offensive game, but he's a great defender. He could finish. He could be a sort of Tristan Thompson-y kind of like hustle, get the right people around him. Don't ask him to do so much, and he can be great. Why is he being shipped out for a package that includes Andrew Bogut, Justin Anderson, and a protected first-round pick?
Frontline depth in Philly. When they get Ben Simmons to go with Embiid, it's going to be scary. Mm-hmm. Now, how long Embiid is able to play based on his injury history, that remains to be seen, but he shows what he can do when he's healthy.
Well, he's spoken out and said that he's a little upset with the way that the Sixers have handled his injury.
Well, he was warming up recently and shooting in practice. He was barefoot.
You saw that, right? Okay, I want to ask you about that. Is that because he has a foot injury, or is that why he has a foot injury?
I love the way you phrased the question, and the latter isn't helped by the aforementioned not having them on. Like you need to have something on your feet.
You should be wearing shoes if you're
something. I mean, these teams are multi-billion-dollar conglomerates. He has a personal trainer that's making sure that every step that he takes is toward getting him back to play basketball. Along that road is not out there playing barefoot. There's a reason why everybody has on shoes.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's somewhere there was this. Remember this barefoot running movement? I'm sure you haven't, but it was like, hey, we're all going to make running sneakers that have individual little toes because barefoot running is actually it's the most natural way that you run. Like, no, you know what? Shoes, okay? Shoes work. Shoes are good for protecting your feet.
Why you say that like you still look at porn magazines? Like
shoes are good for protecting your feet. They work well for protecting your feet. Here's another one.
You know they have the internet now.
Here's another one that I wanted to talk to you about, Mr. Rose. Bogdanovich was a hot topic for a little while there. The Nets. If you play on the Nets,
he can play.
I feel like you need a primer for anyone that plays on the Nets because not a lot of people are tuning into Nets League Pass right now. But Bogdanovich can hit shots. Like, he can play. I mean, and people, someone's got to put the ball in the hoop. But yeah, but he does it.
No, he can ball.
Well and often. He's going to Washington, which is a team in the hunt.
They need that other 3-4 big body stretch type player that can mix it up inside, especially driving toward the basket. I've talked about him on this program as a sleeper. He's going to be a good pickup. He's going to be out running those breaks with John Wall and Bradley Beal and playing alongside Morris and giving quality minutes up front. I like this pickup.
Do you remember, God, it must have just been 5 years ago probably, when Roy Hibbert changed the way the defense was played. Remember the verticality in the playoffs in that series against the Knicks? Roy Hibbert was just changing the way that referees called the game, that guards drove to the hole. Roy Hibbert was a pivot point in the history of the NBA that was changing the path of which this game was played. It's a shame what happened to Flip.
Hit the brakes.
Do you ever think about when you out of here?
Hit the brakes. You media guys get really excited.
I embellished a bit. The
play-by-play guys.
I embellished a bit.
Call a game. And I remember Jeff Van Gundy was saying this too. And that's when you're good at your job. Because people take what you say and run with it as gospel. Let me tell everybody something. Hit the brakes again.
If I just hit the brakes.
I need to hit them again. Yeah, you guys know he coached Patrick Ewing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't Patrick Ewing contest and block shots frequently and go straight up and down and not often get called for fouls or charges or offensive fouls and stuff like that? Like, he was really good on that.
No one said the verticality rule when he did it.
Okay. Have you guys seen Hakeem Olajuwon? He was a master at playing without fouling.
The verticality rule.
He goes straight up and straight down, reach in, steal the ball from you, and block it from you.
But verticality.
David Robinson was another. Tim Duncan was another. These are all like Hall of Famers. How many seasons I like Roy Hibbert, but
do you like Roy Hibbert? Do you like Roy Hibbert as a basketball player right now in the NBA?
But you were like, he helped revolutionize a rule in the annals of the game.
Roy Hibbert makes Robert Parrish look like Isaiah Thomas. Either one of them. Like, Roy Hibbert makes Robert Parrish look like he's fleet-footed, like he's Anthony Davis. Like, come on now. Sometimes Roy Hibbert, there'll be a complete offensive possession. Roy Hibbert doesn't even get it across half court. They miss a shot. Roy Hibbert's got to turn around.
I can't front. Like, I was on my phone as you started to say that, and I thought you was talking about Bill Russell. I'm like, what was he talking about?
This show is so much better when you're on your phone, not paying attention to what I'm saying. I just want you to know that. But Roy Hibbert was traded to the Nuggets, and basically for like a salary clearing, one of those like CBA, like contract nerd type of moves. Because I don't think the Nuggets have too many plans of using Roy Hibbert when they just got Jokic and Plumlee, who I'm calling the Birch brothers.
Where does that come from?
Are you familiar with birch trees?
Not necessarily.
Not a lot of birch trees in northwest Detroit?
No, I don't think so.
That might have been a Massachusetts thing.
Yeah. But they're not playing on the East Coast.
If you ever saw a birch tree, you know what I was getting at.
Oh, that's how they look?
They're white.
Oh, got it.
We're in the studio here watching the Cavs warm up for their game against the Knicks. How many shots do you think the director of this program is going to put of Charles Oakley sitting in the stands over the course of the game?
Oh, he'll be there.
How many times did they cut to Oakley?
He's going to have some LeBron seats. He's going to be sitting down there with Mav and Rich. I already know how this is going down. I already know how this is going down.
Is he going to be in a LeBron jersey? Is this Cavs gear from head to toe?
No, you need to have a couple of adult beverages, though. You got to keep it 100.
Something tells me that won't be a problem for Mr. Oakley.
Got to have a good time.
However, the manager of the bar that he supposedly drank at before the incident did come on wax and say that he was not intoxicated, which I appreciate. Yep. The Cavs you could be looking at now might be different than the Cavs you see in the playoffs. Let's just imagine this scenario in which they get back J.R. Smith, they get back Kevin Love, they add Darren Williams, and they potentially add Andrew Bogut. Now, Williams and Bogut are not on their team, but those are all things that could potentially happen. Would you pick that team, if everyone is healthy, to beat the Warriors in a potential finals matchup?
Yes.
I would too.
Here's why. I'm going to name, besides Zaza Pachulia, who's going to play quality minutes up front alongside Draymond Green and KD on the Warriors come playoff time.
Gentleman by the name of JaVale McGee.
Who else?
Up front?
Yes.
They'll just mix Draymond. Those four. That's it. I wouldn't bring anybody else in there.
Now let's go through who the Cavs can play at 4 and 5.
Okay.
We'll start with LeBron.
Best player in the world.
He's going to play a lot of minutes at the 4. Whether you know it or not, when you're watching basketball, that's where he's playing a lot at.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Love, when he gets back. He's averaging 20 and 10 this year, right?
Yep.
Tristan Thompson, going to give you hustle plays. Still a big body. Still 6 fouls. Channing Frye, knockdown shooter. They have so many different players that can play those spots that they can throw at the front line of the Golden State Warriors. It should overwhelm them based on the balance you just described that they'll now have in the backcourt to go with Kyrie.
So there was a lot of discussion today about a potential Paul George trade. And apparently he only wants to go to a contender, and he really wanted to go to the Lakers or the Celtics or whatever. I mean, what he wants doesn't necessarily matter. It really is what Larry wants. Is it awkward? Like, is this kind of like my wife saying, you know what, I was going to get divorced to you earlier today, but I couldn't find a better replacement. It didn't really work out, so I made food. What time are you going to be home?
Well, that happens in relationships, and you could please correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you break up to make up and get in arguments and not get in arguments.
But it just
there are
seems
people
like
that get divorced to get back together. There are people
Paul
that
George
break up and get back together.
Up at practice or shows up at the game, isn't it a little bit awkward?
No, it's like Eddie Murphy and Raw. Wasn't me.
So you really think that
they were calling and inquiring?
Derrick Rose here was clearly on his way out in New York. It seemed like they would just take anything to get rid of him.
Hit the brakes. 2 things. If they wanted Derrick Rose out, he'd be gone.
They wanted Derrick Rose out.
Okay, why did they move him?
Because I don't even know if they could get Rubio back for him.
No, because Phil, is he working?
No, Phil's not working. Steve Mills is the only one.
You don't think Tom Thibodeau wants Derrick Rose, especially since they lost Zach LaVine? Like, that's a deal that if you want to get that deal done, you could get that done. So we're a lot of times going to talk about, and here's another thing I got to stress around this time of year. Here's so many people saying, oh, he got shipped, or he got moved, or he got traded. To your point and example about a relationship, it's the same thing. If you break up with somebody and you get with somebody that actually likes you and loves you better. Works both ways. When somebody acquires you, they're going to pay you your exact salary, which keeps you happy as an employee.
Sure.
They're excited to see you. Coach has a big smile. GM has a big smile. Fans excited to meet you. Got a new jersey.
But hold up. If I'm Jared Sullinger and I wasn't really getting minutes in Toronto and they They packaged me with a second-round pick and then shipped me to Phoenix. Phoenix isn't saying, you know what? We're going to take the stretch mark 4, and we're going to build around him. Jared Sullinger is our future. Some players I understand, like P.J. Tucker, is like, hey, he's going to a team that's contending for the East. This is much better for P.J. Tucker than it is for Jared Sullinger.
We were talking about Paul George.
We were.
But also, getting traded, I'm going to show you why it's a good thing for Jared Sullinger, too. It's your profession. Adults live where they work. And once you start to take care of yourself, the dynamics of your life change when all of your bills are in your name.
Of course. Everyone always asks me, why'd you move to Los Angeles? Like, they paid me to move to Los Angeles.
Right.
I would be in Albuquerque. If
All
yeah.
100% of your bills are in your name. So here's how you handle that. For example, stretch mark 4 when you get shipped to Phoenix.
Did you just call me
now?
stretch mark 4?
No, Jared Sullinger, the example you were
That would
using.
have hurt my feelings.
You've been running 15, 17 miles. You're getting ready for a marathon.
Still
Those
got a
jokes
little
don't even
gut, though.
apply to
Still
you.
got a little gut,
You looking
though.
handsome, got a new
Still got a
haircut.
little gut, though. Thank
got
you.
some fresh Diodoras on.
Diodoras are the wave now.
Man.
Diodoras are what's happening
You're
now.
killing it with those. So as a professional, if you want to do this for a long time, it's almost like when you go on a trip. Name a city you and the wife would love to go visit and spend a weekend.
Sonoma.
Okay. So what's the first thing you do when you know you're going to Sonoma?
Get a hotel room. I don't know.
How do you find the information about what's going on there?
I'll Google it.
Correct. So all he doing is find out what's great about Phoenix. Where can I live? What time is practice? How far is it from the arena? The weather's there is what? All of the things. Hold on. They still paying me. I'm still making the exact same amount of money to do this, right? This is not like the NFL. This is, I'm getting the same bread. All right. Oh, man. Cost of living is cheaper in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. I get more bang for
Taxes
my buck.
are different.
So you start to see all of the positives be on.
No more international taxes?
No doubt. And when he gets off the plane, just like when Boogie got off the plane, guess what's going to happen? Coach going to be there with a big smile.
Different.
Yes, no, this is how it works. No, this is how it works. And so, as a player, when you're Paul George and you say, how do you go back to practice, is if I wanted you dealt, I could have dealt you. So I clearly want you here. I need you now to lead the squad. Same thing if you're Andre Drummond and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Everybody's name gets thrown around except people that play for the Warriors and the Cavs. That's how this goes. Ain't no Lifetime Achievement Award to play for a team forever. Like, those days are over. Paul Pierce going to the Hall of Fame, right?
Paul Pierce? Yeah.
How many teams he been on the last few years?
6 or 7.
That's why I call these the lost tapes.
If
you're
on
around
the NBA
a long
countdown
time, KG at the
you see
end,
Paul Pierce
Shaq
with 2
at the
phones?
end.
You see him with 2 phones?
Yeah.
I loved it. It reminded me of you. I've got a statue update.
What is it, sir?
Are you ready? On Hollywood Boulevard, a statue just popped up of Kanye West. All gold. Sort of like in kind of like a...
Today?
No, it was a couple days ago. In kind of like a sort of a crucifixion without the cross thing. What? And at the bottom it said false idol. Now I know you as our senior statue correspondent. How do you feel about illegitimate pop-up art statue?
You said the key word. Illegitimate.
This is illegitimate statuing right here. Yep. Like this isn't sanctioned by anybody.
That's almost like having a knockoff.
It doesn't feel right.
There was a time when I wanted the 3 stripes. Mom came home with the 4 stripes.
Yeah, we all know the 4 stripes. I had a pair that was, instead of the Nike swoosh, it was a whale.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone remembers this. I don't know if they really existed or if I dressed them up as a whale instead
and
of the Nike
I got clown.
swoosh.
Never bought Adidas.
But here's the thing. If I'm Kanye, I feel good about this because I know Kanye doesn't look that good with his shirt off. You know what I mean? Like, if you make a statue of me and it says false prophet and false idol at the bottom, I'm like, look, I know you're trying to clown me with this, but shout out to you because you shaved at least 40 pounds off Kanye in that one. And his face doesn't even look like himself. But whenever there is statue news,
thank you, sir.
we will
I
break it
appreciate
down
that.
here on Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. Monster Energy Drink, not only are they sponsoring Extreme Tiger Woods.
There's no reason that Monster shouldn't be sponsoring David Jacoby. He's a marathon runner.
I drank an entire Monster Energy drink
He
on
drinks
the show.
Monster Energy on this show. He would even hit a Monster Energy can and smash it on his forehead for the right amount of money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You embody what they hope to get accomplished. And you went 6-0 in runs yesterday at the gym.
I did. So here's the thing. Monster Energy is a sponsor of NASCAR. And they've got these ladies. Oh, wait, hold on a second.
And now, the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
They've got the Monster Energy girls. They go to NASCAR events. There's been a lot of controversy about their outfits. Some people complain that they're too revealing. Should Monster Energy continue to send these ladies in these semi-scantily clad outfits? They're kind of like they're kind of wearing like yoga pants and like a black garter. What's it called? Bustier? Like a black bustier, I want to say. They look like someone that you'd see like dressed up for Halloween. Like if you're old enough to remember Elvira, that's kind of what they look like.
Addams Family, very nice. I'm surprised you know her.
Elvira's part of the Addams Family?
Yes. No. Where's Elvira? I remember Elvira. What show was that?
I think she's just a personality. We're getting off track.
She's a personality.
We're getting off
Gotcha.
track. Pun very much intended. Should they
House's
continue?
name was
Should
a
they continue
museum
to? Should they
where
continue
people
to send
come
these
to see
ladies?
Of course,
to the track.
It's almost the same, the equivalent of what you see maybe in basketball or football with cheerleaders.
With cheerleaders, yes. For me, it's not the skin that they're showing. It's just the bad fashion. You know what I mean? It's just sort of outdated to me. But like this is much more covered up than you'd see a dance team at an NBA game. So I don't see this as a very big violation of sort of like ethics as much as it is just a bad fashion violation. Uh-oh. New power couple alert. Supermodel Chanel Iman was spotted a little PDA at a hockey game with the Giants' Sterling Shepard.
What?
Great look for Sterling Shepard.
Yes, it is. Good luck, Rook.
We'll keep
Going
an
into
eye on
his
this
second year.
power couple.
See, these are the type of things that keep you out of live on Sunday and off the banana boat on Monday. This is why we like power couples.
But I'm looking at the Cavs and thinking, who are they going to add? Because it is going to be quite a buyout season here. Do you think the Cavs will add Andrew Bogut?
If I'm them and I can add Andrew Bogut as well as Darren Williams, I do it.
I think so too.
And for whatever it's worth, he's going to have another level of familiarity behind the scenes of what you're dealing with the Golden State Warriors, and he's going to want to beat them like anybody else. Mm-hmm. If not more, since he played there and he was unhappy with the ending. Now, is he going to be a force? No, but you need him to give you some good minutes, good quarters, good halves, a couple of good games, because they have so much depth up front, and Darren Williams gives them another ball handler and creator in a different way from the isolation scoring of Kyrie Irving and the triple-double brilliance of LeBron James.
Richard Jefferson's trying to get on our corner. Everyone's got a podcast now. Draymond Green got a podcast. Richard Jefferson's got a podcast. When did you start your podcast?
Like 5 years ago?
Over 5 years ago now. Who was your co-host?
It was the Rose Report.
It was the Rose Report for a while. You were the only one that called it the Rose Report, to be honest, because we called it the Jalen Rose Podcast. Because I kind of felt like the Rose Report could be like mistaken for a gardening podcast. You know?
I didn't want it to be my first and last name. And I used to read a lot of the Raw Report. That's where I got it from.
Well, Richard Jefferson has a podcast. And obviously, by now you know that Kyrie Irving said the world was flat on it. And he doubled down on it all through All-Star Weekend, blah, blah, blah. Now Richard Jefferson is wearing a flat World Champions shirt. Funny or not funny?
A what?
A shirt that says Flat World Champions. Cleveland Cavaliers colors.
Not funny. Here's why it's not funny coming from him. Even if it's a good joke, he ain't the one that could be saying it because he ain't got to play quality minutes every night.
No. He's all right. He plays. You'll see him.
I
Poor
think
Richard
don't
Jefferson.
overlook the quality minutes part.
Iverson said he wouldn't coach.
And we said on this program, you brought it to my attention, every game.
He's going to get a dunk.
And?
A three. Watch. He'll have a dunk and a three tonight. I guarantee it. Allen Iverson said that he could not coach in the NBA. Do you know why he said that?
Because I have to be in practice before the other players.
Great point.
I got to watch more film and be more prepared than all 15 of these guys.
Let's imagine he wanted to coach.
And the other 15 guys on my staff.
Let's imagine he could coach. Let's imagine he was hired as a head coach. He said he couldn't coach because he couldn't coach players that make more money than he does. Is there any truth to that?
No, I just think I said the reason.
Well, no one's going to call up and ask Allen Iverson to coach a team.
I said the reason.
No. Like, even the 3-on-3 league was like, I don't know. I don't know.
What is this famous soundbite?
Practice.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice.
In the NBA, you play more games than practice. In the NFL, you practice more than you play.
Cavaliers were working out Larry Sanders.
We talking about practice.
He had NBA potential as a live body that could grab boards, block shots, get a couple of dunks. I saw his potential in Milwaukee as well. I know he multiple medicinal issues, and so that derailed a lot of what he hoped to get accomplished as a player. So if he can overcome that, depending on the tough thing is once you've been out of the league a couple of years, you're almost done.
It's tough. Unless you're rehabbing from an injury or something, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you left on your own volition and just said, I'm done with the league.
The game is one of those things you be like, she keeps on passing me by. Like 2 years is dog years in the league. So I'm wishing them luck. But if they get Bogut, they won't need him.
If you remember, there's been a couple Clippers-Warriors matchups thus far this season, one of which I was really excited to go. I don't go to games, really. I'd rather be on my couch watching a bunch of games, clicking around on League Pass, comfort of my own home. Yeah. But I said, I am going to this Clippers-Warriors game here at the Staples Center.
When?
I was so excited about it earlier in the
right.
season. It was a complete blowout. The second game in Oracle, complete blowout. Do you expect anything different to happen this evening here on ESPN Radio right after our show?
Chris Paul playing?
No, but he's medically cleared to play. You don't come back against the Warriors. That's not the comeback game.
I mean, that was elite. One thing that I don't want people to overlook for the trade deadline, to answer your question, is the Warriors are going to win as well by double figures. I was on national TV. I took some slack for this, but it actually was right. We was doing the game. I was like, Golden State going to win by 30. They was like, did you just say that into a microphone? Late in the game, people texted me, oh, it's 25. Oh, 22. Oh, 29. So, yes, I think the answer to that question is yes, but if you want some water cooler talk and so many different things going around the league that you can relate to the trade deadline, I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version real quick.
All right, please do, Mr. Rose. Give us the Cliff Notes version of the water cooler talk from the trade deadline. So you sound smart tomorrow at work.
Here's your water cooler talk. If you don't want to get all into the completed trades, because really the only all-star that got traded was DeMarcus Cousins. And a six-man got traded, Lou Williams. The other moves are deeper into the box score. Like, you got to love the game like me to know that Taj Gibson is going to add something to OKC, or Bogdanovich is going to add to the Wizards. But the things leading, or Serge Ibaka to the Raptors, Plumlee to the Nuggets, Korver to the Cavs, like those were the moves leading into trade deadline.
Those already happened.
These already happened, and these are rotation players. But the situations that dominate the news cycle a lot of times are what's hot. And Magic Johnson's hot.
Yeah.
And you know what I appreciated? I sat back like a little punk, and like I've always done, just watch my idols. How when they're playing chess, everybody else is playing checkers. And you know what I saw the Hall of Fame mogul do? So I'm joining NBA Countdown. My antennas perked up. I'm like, he up to something. I sat up in my chair. Everybody else is sleeping. I'm telling you, Jacoby, I sat up in my chair.
What does him joining NBA Countdown have anything to do with him joining the Lakers as the president of basketball?
Because he's getting back in front of the camera for public consumption. Like, when you're in his position, like, that's strategic. So strategic Pick up the remote control another time. Car wash in Bristol, Connecticut. I'm like, oh, he in Bristol? Throwing pies in Golic face. He on first take. He doing it. I'm like, okay. And, of course, he gets a chance to say what he feels. So, if I got the job, I would bring Kobe Bryant back in. Just drop the little nugget. Everybody,
what do you think Lakers fans feel about that? Do you think Lakers fans want more or less Kobe Bryant involved in their organization?
Excited, of course. And then he was like, I'm going to be an ambassador. They're like, I want to call the shots. I'm like, okay, I'm really perked up. Then I hear you brushing up on his knowledge of the CBA. I'm like, okay, got it.
Jalen,
then he was hired.
Brushing up on the knowledge of the CBA part. You don't have to be public about that, Madge. You don't have to be public about that part. You can just do that quietly on your own time.
You got to let them know you're in the lab. But after the break, I'm going to tell you what didn't happen so you can sound smarter at the water cooler tomorrow. Now, I want to give you some fake news. As I think the Podfather was the first person I kind of heard say that. We stole it from him. It's only right. He put us in the game. We'll steal things from him.
Of course.
I like the fake news term. So I'm going to give you all of the things that people were talking about going into the trade deadline. They were just talk.
Okay.
Because they didn't happen.
Please do it.
All of these teams made no moves. The Cavs. The Warriors. The Celtics and their assets. Spurs. Pacers. Knicks. And the most important one to me that didn't make a move, the Clippers. What do they need?
They need a 3, Jalen.
Okay. Where did Bogdanovich go? Washington.
He went from the Nets to the Wizards.
I like to see when a team has a hole, they fill it. Okay. Now let me tell you the all-star level players traded that we discussed consistently over the airwaves and on social media and had them trending and was so excited about the potential of these big deals taking place that did not take place with Jimmy Butler, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony. They're still with those same teams.
Didn't move.
So you now have the elite snapshot of the deals that did go down with the highlight of Boogie going to the Pels. Then some non-all-stars that I think that's going to make.
Serge going to Toronto, I think is impactful.
Yep, that's going to get their names in the paper. Lou Williams. I even like Ilyasova to the Hawks. Love Taj Gibson and McDermott to the Thunder. Mike Scott. They got tired of watching them emoji tattoos. They was like, we're just not going to look at him anymore.
He's all right, but he's not real.
Don't sleep on Noel to the Mavs.
I love Noel. I really do. I mean, he's not going to bring the Mavs into the playoffs.
Or P.J. Tucker to the Raptors. They need another physical, tough defender on the perimeter. Go with Carroll.
The Raptors got better.
Yes.
Like, the Raptors are a markedly better team today than they were 2 weeks ago. They're much better.
So that's your snapshot.
Another thing about the Raptors, everyone's talking about the Raptors. Oh, the Raptors can challenge the Cavs. The Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals. Right now, the Raptors have some work to do. They are now 7 games behind the Cavs, 2 games behind the Wizards, 4 games behind the Celtics, and only half a game up on the Hawks. The Raptors have some work to do. They better come together quickly, or else they are not going to be hosting a series in the playoffs. Mr. Rose, you hear about Dan Gilbert in Detroit?
The tallest building?
Yeah. Dan Gilbert wants to build the tallest building in Detroit. Are you supporting this?
I am, because you could appreciate this as somebody that spent time in Detroit. Being from the East Coast, multiple years in New York City. What's the difference between New York and Detroit as it relates to our buildings?
There's a lot of difference.
You guys have skyscrapers.
Yes, we do.
We don't have many.
No.
You can. When I'm in New York, I can't see the clouds.
No, you don't know what the weather's like.
And so that was the first thing that jumped out to me when I got a chance to visit there. So for us to be in a position to have Dan Gilbert potentially bring that to the city and Tom Gores take the Pistons downtown, like these are all things we need to have happen, and I'm excited about it.
What else it does for Detroit? It gives it a landmark. Like you think about Seattle, people, the Space Needle, just because it's there and you can see it. It's not a functional, it's not like it's not like doing much for the city of Seattle, but it's a landmark.
We have landmarks, the Renaissance Center in particular. But I agree with you. It now gives us a new one because that's been the one that we've used so very long.
I want to talk to you about this, Jalen. This is one of those, like, I need to talk to Jalen about this moments. I'm sure you're familiar with Zion Williamson. Zion is 16 years old. He's a prospect. He's dunking all over the place. There are just YouTube dunks of him everywhere. Are these dunks actually detrimental to his development? The fact that we all know his name at his age and he's been earmarked for this ability just because of these highlight baskets, could this be detrimental to his development?
It's never a bad thing to be dunking all over people at any age.
Are you sure?
Never.
Are you sure?
It's always good.
You know my thing, Jalen. Here's one of my life theories, and I've got a lot of them. Keep expectations low. Like, keep expectations
were low until you start dunking on people.
Keep the expectations low.
There's no hiding. It's not like me getting buckets when you got to look up and like, man, he got 10? You see his coming.
So I want to talk about your guy, the Hall of Fame Oval, because Lakers fans love that he's in the fold. Lakers fans want more Magic and they want more Kobe. And guess what they got? They got more Magic.
And you also do that because you have Magic in the room to appeal to the parents, the grandparents, and all of the business interests and what it takes to be a professional. And you have Kobe in the room to appeal to the current players who idolized him growing up and or he played against.
There's been a little bit of a brush back, a little blowback, a little, but hey, what about us? About black candidates for the general manager position. They're basically saying, hey, Rob Pelinka was earmarked to have this spot. It wasn't even considered to have a minority in that spot. Do you think there should be a Rooney Rule type of policy? Do you think that this is sour grapes from people that didn't get an opportunity they felt they should have had? Or is this a legitimate concern?
It's a legitimate concern when the NBA only has 2 African-American general managers and the league is 80% black on the floor. And only has 1 African-American owner who happens to be the greatest player of all time.
Was a player.
Man, It takes a lot.
You have to be the best to ever play the game.
Right, I had to win dunk contests, championships,
more
scoring
championships,
titles,
play a different
player of
sport,
the
come
year.
back.
No doubt. Go 6 for 6 in championships. And so, yes, there needs to be some level of Rooney Rule instituted in the NBA. In this case, however, it's unique because it's also a relationship business. And the notion of him saying he wanted to find a way to loop Kobe Bryant back in, as I mentioned, was him basically saying, when I get the gig, I'm going to grab both of them. This wasn't fly by the seat of my pants, I'm spewing a hot take. Like, this was well thought out.
So, if you're a Lakers fan, like, we got Magic. Trade deadline's coming. What's he going to do? Well, here's what he did. Shipped out Lou Williams.
Why?
To get worse.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Brought in Corey Brewer, who I like. He's
all right.
He's all right. He's fun to watch. He's fast. And then you ship out Marcelo Huertas to bring in Tyler Ennis. What was behind that deal?
Well, to bring in Tyler Ennis says a lot about what you may think about Russell and or Clarkson, but really it's a salary dump. But Ennis was taken in the lottery. You want to throw a flyer and see if he may be able to compete in the league. That's how those jobs are either won or lost. This is his chance to show he has staying power in the league, or he might be out.
Marcelo Huertas is nice and everything, but he's also like 34.
Remember, there are 80 people in uniforms right now on average that won't be in uniform next year. That's just how this works. So a lot of these are trials. This is why I die laughing when I wake up with the remote control in my hand and I see breaking news. Magic Johnson has spoken to the Pacers about Paul George. Let me give you guys an oxymoron. They traded Lou Williams, their best player, their most productive player, so that they could protect their potential top 3 pick. You don't trade Lou Williams and then the next day add Paul George.
Doesn't seem right. Right now, we're going to open up the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed and take your questions, gauge your responses from the NBA trade deadline. First response from our 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed is this, from Kodak Plaque. My thought is I hate Danny Ainge. Hate, 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 hate. So what do you say to a Celtics fan that was expecting a Jimmy Butler or a Paul George to be in Boston Green?
Like Doc Rivers, this is a perfect example of sometimes why you don't want the coach to be the GM.
Why is that?
Because they have two different things that they hope to get accomplished.
But you know that Danny Ainge is not the coach and the GM of the Celtics, obviously.
Correct.
Okay.
That's my point. I said, unlike Doc Rivers, this is why.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Unlike Doc Rivers, this is why you hope the coach isn't the GM. Because they have two different functions ultimately to try to move the agenda forward for the franchise. The coach's agenda is to win every play.
Of course.
Win every practice.
Their job
improve the
depends
players.
on it.
Win as many games as possible. Try to create a culture of success. On the floor, in the building, on the airplane, on the bus, and help evaluate talent and create a style of play that now can be executed by the talent that's given by
The general manager.
the general manager, whose goal is, I need to look at this entire neighborhood, not just this one house. I know that I bought this house. I'm happy to be here. And, you know, maybe my family can keep this in a part of the legacy for a long time. I got to pay attention to the neighborhood. What else is happening around here? Are they building other nice homes? What other strip malls are going up around here? Like, what's happening with these developments down the street? So he has to take a 35,000-foot view of what should happen with that same roster that I talked about of Coach Crafty. When you're Danny Ainge, if you're the coach as well, I bet Brad Stevens would have been like, draft picks, give me Paul George.
Yeah, of course.
Jimmy Butler. I'll worry about that
Yeah,
another
we'll worry
time.
about the 2019 draft. Like, we're good. Yeah. The second round of 2019, we'll figure something out by then.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I actually appreciate his patience, but like Brad Stevens, I'm grabbing one of them if I can. You come get this pick.
Eamon had this to say. He wants to know, Jalen, why didn't the Cavs find LeBron the playmaker he is looking for?
The Cavs got enough, okay? I don't want to turn into Barkley on this topic.
No, honestly, I'm going the other way with this.
They about to get Darren Williams.
I'm going the other way with this.
They about to get Darren Williams.
I'm still salty the Cavs didn't trade Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony. I would have done that immediately.
You know what?
I would have done that immediately. The second that it was proposed, I'd been like, done. Done.
So
now where's Kevin Love? Oh, he's had surgery.
So
he's out for 6 weeks.
Oh, LeBron just split the pick and roll, went down the lane, two hands, and flushed the toilet. So here's why I disagree with you. And that's the great thing about trades being discussed versus them actually happening. People like me get a chance to really assess a little deeper about the move. And I was like you. If it makes LeBron happy, I pull the trigger and get Carmelo.
Exactly.
Carmelo's going to play his quality minutes at the 3 or 4, and to be effective, he needs the isolation and mid-range. He attempts and or scores as many points in the mid-range as any player in the league.
More than DeMar DeRozan?
DeMar DeRozan's in that conversation. Vucevic should be in that conversation. LaMarcus Aldridge off the top of my head. These are all off the dome, like just whatever. The Cavs don't play mid-range. Either Kyrie or LeBron is playing pick and roll, going isolation, trying to get all the way to the hoop, or they driving and kicking. They don't really have anybody sitting on the post. They have Tristan on the perch down there on the baseline, and Kevin Love spotting up at the 3. And Kevin Love is going to consistently give me 10, 12 rebounds, and he's younger. I was watching Melo, and he's still getting buckets, but I see the little old man limp some.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Not
little
dunking. He used to dunk.
Little
Melo
old
used
man
to
limp.
dunk.
Like, you see when LeBron just split that pick and roll, he went down to the hole with no question. It's about to be emphatic.
That's a Carmelo finger roll. First of all, Carmelo's not really splitting pick and rolls like that.
There you go.
He's not doing that.
So, as they went to Washington and Love performed not only admirably, but you see the pass he made to LeBron James, who made my favorite shot of the year, the turnaround bank shot against the Wizards to send it in the overtime.
Accidental bank shot.
Yep.
I was like, he played himself out of that trade.
I guess.
Take the house off the market.
Let's listen to the next listener that hit us up on our 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed. That's Ori Pounders. Said absolutely nothing happened to compete against the Warriors and Cavs, if not trading to contend, hinting what's the point. I would say that the Raptors upgraded their roster in an effort to contend with the Cavs while not completely, investing in, with not completely losing the assets that could come to fruition later for the now.
And also, it's important to acknowledge that there's only one player that played in this year's All-Star game that got traded. That's DeMarcus Cousins. So now, what are your goals? I'll give you a blanket statement that you can run with if you're a basketball fan. Other than the San Antonio Spurs in the West, any team will be happy to play against the Warriors or the Cavs in the conference finals.
Sure.
They're going to celebrate that.
Sure.
Everybody. So, Wizards got better. Raptors got better. Celtics didn't get better. All of those teams hope to be in that mix. And you know teams like Houston added Lou Williams. OKC, I like what they did adding Taj.
Mm-hmm.
The big head scratcher for me is that the Clippers didn't make a move.
Wasn't even rumored to be talking to anybody about a move.
So that's where I am with it, and it's not because of any other reason except the Cavs are loaded, and so are the Golden State Warriors. They will create the first trilogy in NBA Finals history.
Do you think the Cavs' current dominance of the Eastern Conference and their, frankly, roster on paper, what they look like, is dissuading Danny Ainge from investing in the now?
No, I don't. I think that when you acquire the assets that he's able to do via draft picks and the young players, there's a level of you to want to see those guys pan out. So he did draft Marcus Smart. He wanted to see if he could become a player. He drafted Avery Bradley. Acquired other players on the squad because he'd been a GM for a while. Isaiah Thomas, he fleeced the Phoenix Suns to get him. So as you see those moves happen, you want to see if you can keep playing it out.
Right now, we're going to open up our voicemail box. You call 985-80-JALEN. You leave us a voicemail. We listen to them, pick the best ones, and play them, like this one.
Hey, Jalen and Jacoby. Derek from Hawthorne, California. I want to know, why are so many GMs and teams holding on to assets like picks and stuff and young players that haven't really done much over going to get veterans and proven scorers and contributors in the NBA? Thanks, guys.
Derek, I have an explanation for that. As a Die Easy Celtics fan, I do get frustrated every single year, every single summer, every single trade deadline when Danny Ainge doesn't cash in on these assets for a superstar. But the reason he doesn't do it is because he believes there's a better deal in the future. And you cannot put those trade toothpaste back in the tube. Once you pull the trigger, that bullet doesn't go back in the gun. And I think that Danny Ainge looks at this. I think he had some deals on the table. I think he could have brought in Jimmy Butler. He could have brought in Paul George. He said, you know what? I could probably bring one of those two players into the Celtic franchise this summer with a much better deal when I know exactly where these picks are. If you're trading for the Nets pick, which is the big pick, top 4, but it could be number 4, it could be number 1. But if you're trading for it this summer, it could be the number 1 pick. That's why I believe teams hold on to assets over trading for superstars. Mr. Rose.
I love your assessment. And also, in a salary cap driven sport, you still have to make the money match up.
Yep.
The Celtics have done a really good job of not overpaying players on their roster.
Amir Johnson is like their only bad contract, and he's $12 million a year.
And their best player, Isaiah Thomas, hasn't gotten his mega deal yet.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas, I mean, he's a steal from the, not just from the Phoenix, but he's a steal for what he makes.
And right now, they're second in the East.
Shocking. It's hard to complain about that, even as a die-easy Celtics fan. Let's listen to the next voicemail. Thanks for the call, Derek.
What's up, Jalen and Jacoby? This is Ryan from Virginia Tech. So I have sort of a complaint for Jalen. I'm a runner. Maybe, Jacoby, you can relate to this. I like to run in short shorts. And sometimes after my runs, I like to play basketball with my friends, and they clown me for playing basketball in short shorts, as I do. It is the fault of you, Mr. Jalen Rose, that it's no longer cool to wear short shorts playing basketball. How do you feel that you changed the culture of the country and ruined my life? Thanks for the great work, guys. Take care.
You ruined Ryan's life, Jalen. You ruined his life. How do you feel ruining his life?
Got to wear more than one pair of shorts. Run in your compression shorts. Get your David Jacoby on. Prepare for your marathon. Run your 15, 17 miles. But those ain't basketball shorts.
If you're changing shoes, then you should probably change shorts. Yep. That's something I'm struggling with, Ryan, because I refuse to wear the running short shorts. I refuse to. And if that's going to add an extra 10 minutes to my time in the marathon, then so be it. I'm planning on having my wife switch out my baggy shorts halfway through the marathon because I know they'll be so sweaty. I would rather be sweaty and uncomfortable than wear short shorts. Also, Ryan, I pay attention to fashion. Short shorts are coming back. You see Derek Jones in the dunk contest. You see James Harden and Russell Westbrook at the All-Star practices. Short shorts are coming back.
You said key words, though. They were wearing them where?
Practice.
Okay. Not a game. Not a
in
game.
The dunk contest.
Not a game.
But practice.
We talking about practice.
Let's listen to the next voicemail.
And it's an honor to be saluted as a member of the
No, he
Fab
said you
Five.
ruined his life. That's not an honor. You ruined a man's life. How's that feel?
Hey, Jacoby and Jacoby. This is an aspiring musician, Phoenix Flow, out over on Long Island. I had a question. Jalen once in a while will sort of go off and say, control, control. And I wondered, is that from a song? What song is it? Where are you getting that little sing-song singing that you got going on, Jalen? I've been wondering. Keep giving the people what they want. Thank you.
Big shout to this aspiring musician in either Suffolk County, in Long Island.
That's Homer K Solo?
I don't know. But here's the thing. If you're a musician, you got to know your history. Yep. You know, it's like you can't just pop up in the game and be like, I'm going to be a musician and not understand how the evolution of the sound got here. No. That is a Janet Jackson song. In the video, Janet Jackson runs and jumps on a chair with one foot on the base of the chair where your butt goes, one foot on the top of the chair,
Preach.
and slides down. It makes it look so cool. And me and my brother spent at least 3 days in my house trying to do that exact same move. Not as easy as Janet.
What you guys see, Michael Jordan, last second shot at Utah, crosses over Byron Russell, hits the game-winning shot, is what I see in that Janet video you just described.
And Michael Jordan didn't invent basketball. No. When he was 10 years old, he was watching people play basketball. And those before him.
And Beyonce is the remix to Janet. That's how great she was as a performer.
Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Hi, Jalen and Jacoby. What up, though? This is Raymond calling from Houston, Texas. Shout out for Jalen. I know you love this place. A big fan of the podcast. Been listening for a long time. I got a question, though. If your girlfriend trusts you, does that mean she's cheating? It's like if she's not playing those games, something's got to be up.
If you're calling into your favorite radio show and you're asking that question, maybe you got a problem. I'm just saying. First of all, you don't even listen to our callers. I understand when you don't listen to me ask questions. You don't even listen to our callers. This is Raymond from Houston.
And we didn't even call out the last caller we gave love to. He did say Jacob and Jacob, but that's another subject for another.
I'm not encouraging that behavior. Okay. Jalen and Jacoby is the brand we're trying to build here.
Let's get it.
Okay, Raymond wants to know, if your girlfriend trusts you, does that mean she's cheating? Which is an interesting quandary. My question for you, Raymond, is like, let's just back up and look at this from 10,000 feet. Are you ever going to be happy? If she doesn't trust you, then maybe she's trying to cover up something she did do. If she does trust you, then maybe she's trying to cover up something you did do. What you need to do is just back up and just say, you know what, I'm just going to take the information in as I have it. And I have no evidence that she is cheating on me, so I'm just going to treat her like she's not cheating until I have some evidence. The fact that she trusts you is not evidence that she's not being faithful. No. Fact. Thank you so much for the call, Raymond. I love the Rockets. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Hey, what up, though? It's Big Mo calling from Toronto, Canada. Love listening to you guys. I just had a question since you guys always talk about Hall of Fame. And you guys put all-star appearances up there. Is Joe Johnson in the Hall of Fame? 7-time all-star appearance. Keep giving the people what they want. And tell Reggie stop playing that Jada Kiss music in the background. Ain't this the Disney Channel? Don't you hear what's going on in the ad-libs?
Hold on. Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes immediately. Don't ever say anything negative about Jada Kiss.
I thought you were going to say Reggie.
In any way, shape, or form. Ever in life.
That being said, I'm glad you brought up Reggie because I'm not really big on the Hall of Fame conversation. It doesn't really bother me that much. I care about what people do when they're playing the game. I'm not so big on statues and legacies and Hall of Fames, but
you know somebody who is.
Jalen is, and so is Reggie. So before we get Jalen's response, Reggie, should Joe Johnson be in the Hall of Fame? No. Jalen Rose, should Joe Johnson be in the Hall of Fame?
Nope. Hall of really productive, had some really nice seasons. Wasn't Dominique Wilkins like in Atlanta?
No
he was Joe Johnson like.
They don't have a hall for that, Jalen. There is no hall for that. We are also got our eye on this Pelicans-Rockets game where something interesting just happened. Boogie got a little tangled up with Ryan Anderson. And you'll never believe this, Mr. Rose. Got called for a foul. Got upset with the referee. What? Is it the dysfunction of the Kings franchise that made Boogie agitated, that led to a bunch of technical fouls and bad behavior? Or is Boogie a bit of a bad seed? And that led to dysfunction in the Kings franchise.
Well, his court personality is just that. He's going to be emotional, wear those emotions on his sleeve, and he will get technical fouls.
Kind of a bully.
Rasheed Wallace.
And he'll push you around. He's kind of a bully.
That's just his court personality. Some people get angry with the officials, Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook. Some people just get emotional. He's one of those guys. He's going to need to harness it. They're trailing by 12, and he has 3 fouls. It'd be a lot nicer with a minute plus to go in the second quarter if he was on the court.
He was on the floor. If you call 98580 Jalen, you can leave us a voicemail. We love it when you do. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Hey, what up, fellas? I'm a big-time Thunder fan. Just heard about the news, the trade for Taj and Dougie McBuckets. I immediately texted my friends and then wanted to know what you all thought about it. Does this give the Thunder a legit chance to make it to the second round or pass? And what about the Bulls? What were they thinking? Keep getting them checks, guys.
Appreciate the love, and I'm with them. This may give them a chance, depending on who they get in the first round. How about, I'm going to give you some matchups. I can't just think that they'll get wiped out by the Rockets if they play them in the first round.
No, the Rockets are a bit of a wild card team. Like, sometimes they look great. Sometimes they look like they're going to contend to be in the finals.
I like it a lot.
Like, ooh, this isn't really working.
Teams that have multiple big bodies up front in the league where you're going to have guys on the perimeter shooting threes or creating.
And when you rely on three-point shooting as much as they do, it's one of those things that's not always there. It's just not always there. There are times when you just shoot poorly, and if you have a couple of those in a series, you can lose one, especially to the Thunder.
And you want to throw a lot of big bodies. So they have Capella. They're playing Ryan Anderson, who's an awesome stretch four. Harrell's getting quality minutes, effort, and energy.
But here's the thing. Let me just answer the second part of the question. What are the Bulls thinking? The Bulls are thinking Taj isn't re-signing with us. That's what they're thinking. Because Taj is a valuable player. He does valuable things for anybody. It's hard to poke holes in Taj's game. Thanks so much for the call. Good luck with the Thunder this season. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
What up, though? My question is for both of you guys. Did Steph Curry get embarrassed by missing 10 half-court shots during All-Star weekend? Or does he just not like charity? Keep giving the people what they need.
I saw this live.
Me too.
And I was watching. I was like, oh, Steph's going to hit the first one.
Spoiled.
Yep. And then he missed it, and he's like, oh, Steph's going to hit the second one. He missed it, and then he's like, oh, Steph's going to hit the third. So then it gets to the point where it's like, does he stop trying? Or does he just have to keep going until he hits one? Because 0 for 10, if I gave you 10 half-court shots, you would hit one. I know you would.
I would hope so, but we ain't going to act like they're layups.
No, they're not layups.
Okay. And I want to put something else on wax. Now, you see the first one happening. Boogie got his third foul but didn't get a tech. Now, who I told you going to hear those texts?
Alvin Gentry.
He just got his first one.
At the press conference, he said, I can't get suspended. Let me take those texts. Like, it is a strategy. It's just not a strategy in the locker room. It's during the press conference. Yep. They mentioned this strategy.
After this season, the league is going to institute a rule that acknowledge the maximum amount of texts coaches can now get based on what's going to happen with Alvin the rest of the season.
Let's listen to the next voicemail. Thanks so much for the call.
What up, though? This is Hong Yi, proud minivan driver, calling from Beijing, China. I just have one question for Jalen. Which Reggie is your favorite Reggie? The Hall of Famer Reggie Miller? Or the music genius Reggie from the studio? Love your show. Keep giving check.
I love Reggie, but he don't. First off, there's two Reggies. I love our producer, Reggie.
Okay, that's Reggie Hooks.
But he don't like Cameron.
No. So it's got to be Reggie Miller, right?
So it got to be Reggie Miller.
And Reggie Miller's made you a lot of money.
I played with him 6 years.
Yeah,
that's my big brother.
You guys made a lot of money together. Yeah,
you know what? I'm going to order a Reggie Miller lobster wherever I go tonight.
I don't even know what that means.
As a show of appreciation for my big brother, who
I can't wait till you
had
ask
38 points
for a Reggie
in a game against
Miller
the Sixers.
lobster.
And he shoot 90 from the line, and he's like, "No, you gotta shoot these. We both need to have 40."
Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Oh my gosh. What up, though? It's Kevin calling back, Michigan guy who's calling from Chicago. But I found the answer to my question. Jacoby. Oh, I can't wait for this day when you're a diehard fan. It's going to be when one of your children is on a team, and maybe you're the coach of the team, or they're really good at one sport, volleyball or basketball. Like, they just progress so hard. You will be a diehard fan. Jacoby, I'm so excited for you. Thank you. Jalen, love you. All right, guys. Peace out.
Love you, too. Please own this, sir.
I was lucky enough to attend one of the Podfather's daughter's 6th and 7th grade basketball playoff games. It was great. I really enjoyed it. However, it was too intense in that gym. It was too intense. Cursing at the referees. The referees are being too intense. The athletes are being too intense. The opposing coaches are being too intense. It's just like I felt like walking in the gym and just being like, everybody stop for a second. None of this matters. No one's lives are at stake. No one's livelihood are at stake. This is not a big deal.
Can
everybody.
I give you another word while you continue? It's competitive.
It's too competitive.
Is what it is.
It's everybody in that gym needs to just chill out. Everybody. I think it's a kind of a poisonous environment.
That's how it is when you're trying to have success in an industry. It's competitive.
Yeah. This is not an industry. This is 6th grade girls playing basketball.
Before you playing as an All-American in 12th grade, you got to be in the gym in 6th grade.
And don't take the Podfather's daughter out. Because every time she went to the bed, she's like, "Oh, that's a bad decision." Let's listen to another voicemail.
Hey guys, this is Liam from Oklahoma, and I've been reading a lot of books by my favorite sports personalities, such as the Jalen Rose, and I was just wondering, Jacoby, why don't you write a book, or have you written a book? Because that's something I think would be really fun to read. Thanks. Love the show. Bye.
First of all, great idea. I once put together a book proposal, and then I had twins, and I was like, you know what? I ain't got time for this. I don't have any time.
You got more chapters now.
Yeah, we got twins.
You got to let this play
out
a little bit.
I got this show every single day. I got no time for extra projects. I don't have time to eat dinner tonight.